Hello guys and welcome to this week's track guide. We are at the Circuit of the Americas at a flooded COTA because the prediction of the race is to be quite wet, so or it at least could be wet, so this is like an extremum we are showing here on a flooded track. We are with the Aston in quite dangerous, or let's say at least yeah, pretty much hard conditions. So we are already getting started into our very lap. Heading towards turn 1. In these conditions, I will do everything for these conditions because it is not quite unlikely that these will appear in the race too. We brake at around 150, let's say, roughly 150. A bit later is always fine, I think. But yeah, this works well. And then that corner doesn't have a real line. You can take a little more momentum and then get out better, but we can also try to not take as much momentum and take a little less, and for try to hit the throttle a little earlier but less rough. So we hit the throttle early enough and then sling out of it, pretty much heading into the S corners. Not fully flat in that rain. Normally in the dry it is. So this here we can take all of the curbs but not much. So don't take too much or you will invalidate it. Third gear and then just swimming around a little. In this one we have a double apex, so we go out to the left a little and then cut over the right, take a lot of momentum here and smash it to the left, like we aggressively whip it over just to get on here. Second gear and then we sling it to the right again, over that curb on the left. Let's see that as one flowing motion. So we get here, we steer to the left and go over that inside curb, we steer to the right, we aim for the apex, we aim for the apex and then let us drag a little to the outside, we go over the inside and then we go to the right, smash it to the left. We can take a little of that though. Go a little out to the left again, second gear, trying to keep the minimum speed and the RPMs up. Not quite easy in that rain, and then we accelerate out. In that rain, I must say, this one you would think is easily flat. It is in the dry though, but here not really. We are quite endangered, but that's all fine. And then for this we brake a bit before 100, so you could maybe in the dry use 100 and in the wet from red to blue the change in colors. Steer a bit before the end, so we steer earlier than we think and we don't brake a lot, and then we hit the throttle again and sling out of it again. For the next turn we have the same procedure as here, and in turn 1 we brake between 200 and 100, somewhere in the middle in the dry. A bit before 100 is fine, 150 is fine. And then we roll into here again, don't take that curb and then get out. So steering around these Pirelli signs is fine, yeah. And then we get out here, try to avoid that curb because there are sausages like everywhere here. Going for the next turn, we brake at the white stripe. In the dry we would use that white stripe. Steer as late as possible. We can go over the sausage on the inside, but I wouldn't incentivize you to do it. And then we go for this hard turn. This is quite tricky in the wet. Like in the dry we can just floor it here and then we can floor it here and then pretty much go for a wide line and then brake here fully to get it around. But here, if we fully brake, we lock up. So we brake a little bit and then do a steer in and a throttle out without hitting dead sausages again. So also that once again in motion. We steer right. We could use first gear here, I must admit. And then we do not a lot of braking and not a lot of steering so that we don't lock up. And then we steer not on the brakes anymore into this, going for the triple right-hander as far to the left as possible. And steer quite late, don't go to the apex here, but here, and then we go out, and again to the apex, and then we just send it around as quickly as possible. Going to the right, not onto that curb, so what you see now is quite not optimal, but in the dry you can exploit that, that's no problem. But here that was a little slip, but no problem, got it saved. So optimal would be to not touch this and stay in that path, and then with your left tires cut over that sausage, or at least go close to the sausage. But here we just hit the throttle out and approach the last corner. We brake around below that big shield. In the dry you can, at that patch of road, you can just hit the brake. First gear could be incentivized with most cars, and then we throttle out again. And that was a lap around the circuit of the Americas, and even though the lap time may not be representative, it is a 2:23.557.